Welcome back to Store University. This is Lesson 5, How to Pick the Best Businesses Using the V Formula. I'm Chris Volk, CEO of Store Capital, and this is our 5th lesson in a series of 10 introductory short courses designed to help you get the most out of your business. So by now, you should have a good idea how to compute an equity rate of return, and you should have a good idea of how important equity rates of return are to wealth creation. You should also know how to compute equity returns using the V formula, which is a mathematical shortcut that I devised some years ago. And you should understand how to compute the business value you have created using those formulas. Now, this is the 3rd and final V formula chapter, and that's how to pick the best businesses using the V formula framework. I learned as a credit analyst that not all businesses are created equal. Some businesses are just flat better than others. Some have better rates of return and better operating leverage. Now, not all of our life choices are about picking the best business models, and you need to have a passion for what you do. But given that passion, why not direct it towards the best possible business model, or given a chance to invest your savings, why not look at making investments in the best businesses having the best economics? As a framework, the V formula can help. The first question we're going to address is, how do we define the best business? In finance, analysts will look at risk-adjusted rates of return. The Sharpe ratio tries to do this by measuring the units of return for each unit of risk. But risk is defined as the valuation volatility as determined in a publicly traded marketplace. Now, really, is this how you think? For business people, risk is really margin for error. How much and how many things can go wrong for me to lose money? For public companies, the presumption is that valuation volatility is a proxy for this margin for error, but personally, I'm not a big believer. Anyway, if you look to invest in or buy or build a business, volatility is not really something you can measure anyway. Instead, you have to look to a business risk, and here the V formula can help. My basic proposition is the best businesses tend to first be those that can generate the highest rates of return with the least use of other people's money, or OPM, that requires contractual payments. This means no leases, no borrowings, preferred stock, or any other instruments that require a payment obligation. In the V formula, you just set the proportion of the OPM in the model to 0% and the proportion of equity in the model to 100%, with the model limited to just 4 variables. Businesses that can produce the highest rates of return while using the least amount of OPM that requires contractual payment obligations just tend to be better businesses. Now, keep in mind first that the V formula computes a pre-tax rate of return. So, a high contractual, payment-free V formula result is the first sign of a nice business. The second sign is that the business can be scaled. Making a nice rate of return is neat, but it's even better if the business can be scaled. After all, a nice rate of return on a very small investment can still be a really small number. And the third sign that you have a great business on your hands is that the business model permits a decent operating leverage. From our earlier lessons, you should know that operating leverage is the ability to grow revenues with little incremental investment in the business. In this way, the equity rates of return on your investment just keep getting better and better over the years. Now, if you want to take a look at the annual listing by Forbes magazine of the world's 400 richest people, it's generally safe to say that their wealth emanated from great business investments that meet our 3-pronged test. Now you know how to evaluate the best business models using the V formula. In our next lesson, we'll explore how to use the V formula as a tool to evaluate investments in public companies. Until then, I'm Chris Volk, and thank you for joining me on this value creation journey.